It is Wednesday, 7/26/2017. It is 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I am your host, Frank Dashwood. And so you know what time it is. It's time for a little bit of coin metal. And so we do have some exciting and kind of current things. Unfortunately, there was no getting our asses kicked at Jiu-Jitsu today because I did not go to Jiu-Jitsu. Look, please, a little bit of patience. I'm a little bit older now. You know, if I was like 25 or 26, I probably wouldn't have as much trouble just, running out there and going at it again. I'm not trying to make excuses here, but I'm the kind of person that tries to take care of my body. And I don't know, sometimes I feel like I need to do like in addition to regimen of jiu-jitsu to kind of bring yoga into it because, I am a little bit older, so I gotta take care of the old body. But I expect that I will be getting back to it probably tomorrow. I am thinking about going to a fundamentals class tomorrow. I don't know, I gotta watch my elbow. I really had it tweaked a couple weeks ago, and it's one of those things where, like, if I wasn't feeling as much pain and the way I was, I'd probably still be just going at it. But it's like the kind of pain you get when you're like really, really sore from working out. It's probably like tendonitis or some shit like that. But in any case, I got it really, really strained a couple weeks ago, and so since then I've been having to kind of convalesce, take it a little bit easy. And, it's kind of interfering with my other work as well. I've been doing a lot of garden duty out there, kind of terraforming the backyard. I literally flattened part of a hill with little more than hand tools. And I did have a rototiller for a very short period of time, but for the most part it's been a pick and a shovel and, yeah, that kind of stuff. Any case, like I said, I've got a lot of tabs open in the old browser today, so we're not going to be hunting Twitter or Google. I mean, I got a couple papers in there that are 9 pages plus, and it's been a terribly exciting day with some of crypto out there, so we're going to go ahead and bust in with our first dance. A little bit of new Megadeth here. The Threat is Real, here on Coin Metal. And that was a little bit of Ministry there with Lies, Lies, Lies. Oi! Oh, shit. Man. For some reason, I think it's like the recording levels or something. I gotta like put some sort of like break in here or something where it has some sort of leveling on here or gate or whatever the fuck they call it. Anyway, yeah, like I was saying earlier, it was it's a fairly interesting day in crypto. And I did kind of get ahead of things just a teeny tiny, and did take a little bit of time and went through and got some links for stories to actually read to you guys today. And there has been some new developments, and we're going to be covering them today. Sorry, I'm a little bit I'm still just amazed at how much progress I did make today. It's one of those projects that I've been preparing the area for a long time, and so it's like, first it was digging a ditch, then it was filling the ditch, then putting the plants in, and now I'm on to building. And the most difficult parts haven't come up. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. The most difficult parts are already over. The toughest thing I have to do now is drop some posts and then build on top of it. And once you got math on your side there, it all works out. I just had to figure out exactly the correct position to put my corner beam in and build off of that, and it's all self-referential. So I got about a 7-foot baseline. I figure my top peak will be about 3 feet above that. So I'll have plenty of head space to grow into. And at some point I may do some sort of broadcast or of some sort of type from there. I think it's an appropriate venue. The thing is, we are enjoying the 21st century and all of the new freedoms that we're being bestowed with, and not the least among those, legal cannabis. I've known it was going to come for a very, very long time, and now that it's here, it's every bit as wonderful as I thought it could be. And I expect it will only continue to get more wonderful. We're still facing some of the 1950s mentality when it comes to cannabis, though. Jeff Sessions, he does have a point in that he's prosecuting according to federal law, and that if we want to do something, we should probably change the federal law. And that's not an unreasonable request, really. I mean, but the thing is this. The people want that to happen. As a matter of fact, I think if you were to poll 100,000 Americans, maybe 2,000 from each of the states, and pull them straight across, I guarantee you'd be above 70% plurality of people want legalization. And so, the easiest way to do it for the feds would be to categorize cannabis, I don't know, kind of like I guess maybe a class 3 or a class 4 drug. Bump it down to an over-the-counter substance. Now if you want to make derivatives of it and concentrate certain aspects of it, then maybe we're talking about a class 3 or a class 2 or whatever. I forgot the classifications, but I know it doesn't belong in class 1. Because class 1 is for shit that will kill you. Shit that's like really, really addictive, like heroin and opiates and shit like that, and coke, meth, crack. These are class 1 drugs, not cannabis. And by the way, the girls are looking awesome. I'm kind of figuring out my my water table here. I've got it down to one really, really heavy watering a day, and I think that's pretty sufficient. Because otherwise, like if I water it twice a day, I end up with soup. And I mean, even if I do space them out, to where I'm hitting them like really early in the morning and then somewhere in the middle of the day, even so, it ends up being soup. So I think one really, really heavy watering like I've been doing, and I do 2 really, really heavy rounds. I mean, to where I've got like standing water and shit for just a moment before like when I walk away and I look back after a couple minutes, I don't have standing water anymore. But I mean, I make sure I hammer them very, very, very good. There's no even semi-dry spots when I'm done with a round. And then I go back and I hit them again, same way, for the same amount of time. And like I said, I think if I do it just one time a day that way, that's like the best way to go about it. And pretty soon I intend to be introducing a tea. I should be doing tea already, but I mean, I've already got time release fertilizer. I've got really, really good soil. I think I'm doing all right. The plants are really, really responding well. I went through and picked out some of the crumbly leaf a little bit. Stuff that had suffered a little bitey by some bug while I had it in containment. And of course, I treated for that. And yeah, like I said, I went out there this morning. Man, they were all perked up and ready to enjoy the rest of the day in the bright sun. So anyway, let's go ahead and get back into some articles, because this is coin metal, not pot coin or pot metal or metal pot or any of that stuff. Anyway, first thing I got up here is it's on blog.wizsec.jp. And let's see, who's the author on this thing? It doesn't even say. Who is the author? Oh, it's posted by Kim Nelson and or Nissen, and no idea from here as to whether or not Kim is a male or female. Oh, here, let's check. No picture. No claim of, well, my webpage. Tokyo, Japan. No marker Pelle's. No indication of penis or no penis, so we don't care. Let's get back to this article, though, because it looks pretty tasty here. Breaking Open the Mt. Gox Case, Part 1. This is written on July 27th of 2017. Earlier today, news broke of an arrest in Greece of a Russian national suspected of running a large-scale money laundering operation focused on Bitcoin. The man has since been publicly identified as Alexander Vinnik, 38, and over $4 billion is said to have been trafficked through the operation since 2011. We won't beat around the bush with it. Vinnik is our chief suspect for involvement in the Mt. Gox theft, or the laundering of the proceeds thereof. This is the result of years of patient work, and these findings were surely independently uncovered by other investigators as well. Everyone who worked on the case have patiently kept quiet while forwarding findings to law enforcement so as not to tip suspects off to maximize the chance of arrests. With such an arrest actually happening, we think today might finally be the day we can begin talking about what we've actually been doing all this time and what we found. Thank you for your patience. Summary. We're going to split this into a couple of different posts, as our full findings cover a wider range of topics, and for this post, we'll just very quickly summarize the main BTC theft and its connection to Vinnik. In September 2011, the Mt. Gox hot wallet private keys were stolen. In a case of simple copied wallet.dat file. This gave the hacker access to a sizable number of bitcoins immediately, but also were able to spend the incoming trickle of bitcoin deposited to any of the addresses contained. Over time, the hacker regularly emptied out whatever coins they could spend using the compromised keys and sent them to wallets controlled by Vinnik. This went on for long periods, but also had breaks. A prominent second phase of thefts happened later in 2012 and 2013. By mid-2013, when funds spendable from the compromised keys had slowed to a near halt, the thief had taken out about 630,000 Bitcoin from Mt. Gox. In addition, the shared key pool of the wallet.dat file led to address reuse, which confused Mt. Gox's system into mistakenly interpreting some of the thief's spending as deposits, crediting multiple user accounts with large sums of Bitcoin, and causing Mt. Gox's numbers to go farther out of balance by about 40,000 Bitcoin. The majority of these funds were hurriedly withdrawn by their recipients rather than being reported. After the coins entered Vinnik's wallets, most were moved to BTC.e and presumably sold off or laundered. BTC-e money codes were were a popular choice. In total, some 300,000 Bitcoin ended up on BTC-e, while other coins were deposited to other exchanges, including Mt. Gox itself. Some of the funds moved to BTC-e seem to have moved straight into internal storage rather than consumer deposit addresses, hinting at a relationship between VNIC and BTC-e. The stolen Mt. Gox coins were not the only stolen coins handled by VNIC. Coins stolen from Bitcoinica, Bitfloor, and several other thefts back in 2011 and 2012 were all laundered through the same wallets. Moving coins back onto Mt. Gox was what let us identify VNIC as the Mt. Gox accounts he used could be linked to his online identity, WME. As WME, VNIC had previously made a public outcry that coins had been confiscated from him, the coins in question coming from Bitcoinica. There were other thefts and incidents explaining other missing funds from Mt. Gox. More on that in later posts. There will be follow-up posts fleshing out the details of this post as well. For now, we are keeping it short to stay close to the announcement of the arrest. Having identified the actual transactions for the bulk of the stolen Mt. Gox Bitcoins, we traced them and clustered all addresses involved, quickly finding that other stolen coins were making their way into the same wallets. Below is a summarized illustration highlighting the theft coin flow of September of 2011 onwards. Interesting. As some coins were deposited back to Mt. Gox, we could identify which accounts were used to receive them. Two in particular were of interest and were plausible to link to the online identity WME. Clusters who directly used these Mt. Gox accounts were highlighted in red. WME has been active since a long time back, often advertising, quote, cheap coins on the Bitcoin Talk forums and wanting to trade exchange money codes. BTC-e publicly vouched for him, saying that, quote, we know WME very well. WME was involved with an incident involving stolen Bitcoinica funds, visible in the graph above, which provided yet another strong indicator that we had identified the right man, seemingly the main money launderer behind the Mt. Gox heist. This incident also ended up revealing the name Alexander VNIC, although we didn't at the time think it was his real name, having seen many aliases. Today's arrest suggests it was real after all. To be clear, this investigation turned up evidence to identify VNIC not only as a hacker/thief, but as a money launderer. His arrest news also suggests this is what he is being suspected for. He may have merely bought cheap coins from thieves and offered a laundering service. He is, however, a crucial piece of the puzzle, as he will likely have known who he was dealing with and laundering for, and so represents a major breakthrough in the case. We assume that law enforcement will now be taking the appropriate next steps to pursue all of the remaining angles and hopefully identify the other individuals involved as well. Next, we're currently preparing more material for disclosure, so for more information on the Mt. Gox theft and all other aspects of the Mt. Gox case that we didn't have time to cover in this post, stay tuned and check back soon. Excellent! Some closure! Now, if these same wonderful investigators could just get to all of the Bitfinex hacks and maybe Cryptsy, maybe discern some truth out of what happened there. I mean, they weren't as glorious as 300,000 bitcoins. Jesus fucking Christ, man, that's a lot of fucking money. But nonetheless, pretty fucking significant. I mean, it's cost a lot of people a lot of money, these little security breaches and hacks and shit. I mean, ICO hacks. We should be investigating ICO hacks too. We're talking about about $500 million in hacks now, I'm sure. Well, maybe not that much, but a lot. I mean, I would think maybe 100 million by now, at least. In any case, that was tasty and very good. Whoever it is working on this, congratulations on your successes in investigating this, and I'm looking forward to hearing some resolution on this, because this is a specter that's been haunting Bitcoin this entire time. But what about the Mt. Gox hack? What about the Mt. Gox hack? Apparently we just found a guy that was involved in that. Now whether or not he was the only person and whether or not Mark Karpelli's responded appropriately to the situation, that's entirely a different story. But this is a testament to the traceability of Bitcoin and the viability of the blockchain in the hands of the public. That's not a product of some fucking federal government somewhere. That wasn't a product of some company somewhere. That was a product of people like you and me. And it was much more so back then. I believe we're potentially headed towards another spike in mining, but it really depends on what happens after this fucking August 1st thing. Hopefully nothing, and we just keep trudging along and everybody fucking figures it out and says, we just need bigger blocks. If that's the case, I think that's the glorious future right there. Because I'll tell you what, the guys at AMD and NVIDIA, they're finally fucking getting it together. And I think Intel is working on it too, where they're making fucking mining cards. I mean, come on now. It's only taken you until now to get to it, but seriously, if that shit gets moving very well, I think that we're going to see another massive boom in mining. And it's going to go through another flowering period where people that have never been mining will suddenly be mining. It's good stuff. Increase the network density, lower the number of hops that you need to do before a transaction clears or is broadcast out to the network. It's good stuff. I know I'm not using the appropriate terminology with that, but like I said before, my brain's like on half gear right now because I spent all day in that blazingly hot sun working. And like I said, I'm thinking that might be a good venue for some sort of talk show. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw back down into a little bit of music. I think I got to get some caffeine in me or something. And I haven't been playing anything off of Power of the Damager, and I feel the need. The Banishment by Prong here on Coin Metal. And that was a little bit of textures there. Now, I don't know. That's one of those bands that I only discovered because of Pandora. Apparently it falls into like a prog metal kind of genre, and so of course when I put Meshuggah into Pandora, that's one of the things that came up. And I don't know, Pandora is one of those services that I have like a love-hate relationship with. I mean, I love that they've got a really wide selection of music that they play, and I love that for the most part they kind of get me. You know, when I put in a specific band, they kind of get what I like according to that, and oftentimes I'm finding that I like bands that I didn't think I liked because of some like other stupid association. And it's weird, like how I don't know if I'm alone in that I develop weird biases like that. I don't think I am. I think a lot of people do. As a matter of fact, I think that's like the human associative process. But I could be wrong. Anyway, I wanted to span into some other kind of crime enforcement business, and this is associated. But this one, it's kind of a landmark, and it's kind of interesting that it should happen with us. You know, sometimes I wonder about Bitcoin. You know, sometimes I wonder if like it wasn't actually like a government thing to begin with. But I don't know. I've been involved for a pretty long time. I don't think it was a government thing. I think they're just really good at adapting shit. But I don't think this is theirs. Any case, this is from FinCEN. FinCEN.gov. And this is July 27th, the immediate release. Contact on this was Steve Hudak. With a name like Steve, I'm going to say yes. He has a penis. FinCEN finds BTC-e virtual currency exchange $110 million for facilitating ransomware darknet drug sales. Treasury's first action against a foreign-located money services business. FinCEN finds BTC-e virtual currency exchange $110 million for facilitating ransomware and darknet sales. Treasury's first blah blah blah. Washington, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, working in coordination with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of California, assessed a $110 million $3,314 civil money penalty against BTC-e, aka Canton Business Corporation, BTC-e, for willfully violating U.S. anti-money laundering laws. Russian national Alexander Vinnik, one of the operators of BTC-e, was arrested in Greece this week, and FinCEN assessed a $12 million penalty against him for his role in the violations. BTC-e is an internet-based foreign-located money transmitter that exchanges fiat currency as well as the convertible virtual currencies Bitcoin, Litecoin, Namecoin, Novacoin, Peercoin, Ethereum, and Dash. It is one of the largest virtual currency exchanges by volume in the world. BTC-e facilitated transactions involving ransomware, computer hacking, identity theft, tax refund fraud schemes, public corruption, and drug trafficking. Shows how discriminatory they were about who they did business with, just the way I like it. Quote, "We will hold accountable foreign-located money transmitters, including virtual currency exchangers, that do business in the United States when they willfully violate U.S. money laundering laws," said Jamal El Hindi, acting director for FinCEN. Quote, "This action should be a strong deterrent to anyone who thinks they can facilitate ransomware, darknet drug sales, or conduct other illicit activity using encrypted virtual currency." Treasury's FinCEN team administrators who attempt to subvert U.S. law and avoid complying with U.S. AML safeguards. Yeah, you know what? You wouldn't have known shit if they didn't tell you. FinCEN acted in coordination with law enforcement's seizure of BTC-e and Vinnick's arrest. The Internal Revenue Service, Criminal Investigation Division, Federal Bureau of Investigation, United States Secret Service, and Homeland Security investigations conducted the criminal investigation. Among other violations, BTC-e failed to obtain required information from customers beyond a username, a password, and an email address. Instead of acting to prevent money laundering, BTC-e and its operators embraced the pervasive criminal activity conducted at the exchange. Users openly and explicitly discussed criminal activity on BTC-e's user chat. Like they have any fucking control of that. Give me a fucking break. BTC-e's customer service representatives offered advice on how to process and access money obtained from illegal drug sales on darknet markets like Silk Road, Hansen Market, and Alphabay. Okay, now that's different. Okay, we've gone from just letting them traffic their own ideas to verging on criminal facilitation here. But you know what? That's their fucking business. And really, I don't think FinCEN has any fucking business in this, but oh well. All I can say is the best that could come from this is that people that were victims of the Mt. Gox hack might actually be made whole. Wouldn't that be cool? I doubt it, but, you know, one can hope. BTC-e also processed transactions involving funds stolen between 2011 and 2014 from one of the world's largest Bitcoin exchanges, Mt. Gox. BTC-e processed over 300,000 Bitcoin in transactions traceable to the theft. FinCEN has also identified at least 3 million of facilitated transactions tied to ransomware attacks, such as CryptoLocker and Locky. Further, BTC-e shared customers and conducted transactions with the now defunct money launderer website Liberty Reserve. FinCEN previously issued a finding under Section 311 of the U.S. Patriot Act that identified Liberty Reserve as a financial institution of primary money laundering concern. BTC-e has conducted over 296 million in transactions of Bitcoin alone and tens of thousands of transactions in other convertible virtual currencies. The transactions included funds sent from customers located within the United States to recipients who were also located within the United States. BTC-e also concealed its geographic location and its ownership. Regardless of its ownership or location, the company was required to comply with U.S. AML laws and regulations as a foreign-located MSB, including AML program, MSB registration, and suspicious activity reporting and record-keeping requirements. This is the second supervisory enforcement action FinCEN has taken against a business that operates as an exchanger of virtual currency, and the first it has taken against a foreign-located MSB doing business in the United States. Yeah. FinCEN's mission is to safeguard the financial system from illicit use and combat money laundering and promote national security through the collection, analysis, and dissemination of financial intelligence and strategic use of financial authorities. Yeah, kiss my black ass. So, we're going to move on to the actual case, because it's only 9 pages, and we can chew that up and spit it out. Assuming, of course, it's not one of those where they double-sided it, but I don't think they did. Anyway, I'm kind of ambivalent on this. Because, like, I think that we should be completely free to transact as we will. But then again, I believe in accountability. And if accountability can be made by denying certain coins circulation back into the system after they've been stolen, that would be like a proactive measure. And, you know, maybe BTC-e was the only exchange that they could actually do that through. I don't know. But the point being, I think that with the opportunity that we're given with cryptocurrencies, that it kind of helps to be proactive, to kind of step away from quote-unquote criminal activity. Now, and when I say criminal activity, I'm not talking about selling drugs, I'm not even talking about selling guns or prostitution or anything like that. I'm talking about things like slavery, okay, selling people, or maybe contracting murders. Nah, I don't know. I think that's one of those things where, you know, I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't think people should contract murders, but it happens. You know, I mean, it's kind of hard not to get kind of relativistic about that when you realize that that's pretty much your country's foreign policy. So, you know, it's one of those things of, if you can do it, so can I. I mean, not to say I encourage it or anything like that, but, you know, we're living in very controversial times. You know, it's like we have access to so much information at any one time that it's hard to look back even a year or even at 2 years and imagine where we're at right now. You know? And when you consider the things that we see people being prosecuted for, and then you weigh that against actions of people that you see in the public sphere and whatnot, and you see that they're not being treated the same. It's like, it's a lot harder to disregard that stuff now, because we've actually got the access to the information. You know, it's not as easy to say, you know, those people up on Ruby Ridge were bad, and so, you know, we sent BATF and FBI up there to execute them. I mean, you know, or Waco, Texas, you know, you can't look at Waco anymore and say, you know, that was a just action, or that was a reasonable action, or whatnot. They could have just as easily surrounded the place and just waited for him. They would have run out of provisions eventually, and they would have walked out of there. Not that the federal government actually had any business there, because from all accounts it was legitimate commerce. One person got what they asked for, and the other person got what they asked for. There was no theft involved. There was no injured party. Therefore, forget about it. You know, it's all about, like, you know, where it happened. You know, I think Montana, it's like guns are pretty much like, I don't know, like produce. I'm sure there's a little bit of additional regulation on them, or some such, but that it's pretty much that they can do private party transfers, and, you know, if you've had a felony or whatever, you can buy a gun after you get out and have served your sentence. You just can't transport your guns outside of Montana. But that's all like bro law or something like that. I haven't actually looked that far into the firearms policy of Montana, but I've heard tell that it's very very liberal. And so yeah, this FinCEN thing. You know, I don't really believe that that governments have any place in Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. The fact of the matter is there's no gun to anybody's head to involve themselves in cryptocurrency. It's not like a fiat currency where that's issued by the private bank that's chartered by your government to do it. Okay, that's a different story. That there's kind of an implicit monopoly going on there. But what we're doing here in cryptocurrencies, in my mind, it's like we're creating financial vehicles, but it's like you're looking at a deck of Pokemon cards. And you can trade some Pokemon cards for others, and some you can't trade for some. And they all have different rules associated with them, different attributes and whatnot. But they're all digital. They're all global. And so the whole question of jurisdiction becomes so fucking fuzzy that you have to disregard it. You know, we're in the 21st century now. And geography is just a state of mind in where it pertains to the internet. I mean, shit. My dad sits and watches videos all night long of people crashing into shit. You know, those compilation videos that they post on YouTube of you know, tragic crashes or, like, you know, amazing crashes or shit like that. I mean, the level of access that we have to one another has been so marginalized. I mean, there really aren't too many barriers between us, and the ones that do exist are imaginary at best, and, you know, loosely enforced at worst. You know, it's like this case that I'm looking at right here. The first article that we read pertaining to this thing indicates that the people that wrote the article were in contact with FinCEN and the FBI and all those guys pertaining to this case and their findings. You know what that tells me? That tells me that FinCEN and the FBI, this wasn't even a prerogative for them. It didn't become a prerogative until Bitcoin became worth $2,000 for a Bitcoin. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, well now we're talking about a lot of money, son. We better chase that shit down. Better help recover that. Oh, and thank you very much for the tax that you're going to pay on the monies that we get back for you. That's now income, right? But you know, back to the question of federal regulation of cryptocurrencies. I think at this point, with regard to cryptocurrencies, that there's so much power in the hand of the user of cryptocurrencies. You know, I mean, there aren't any real barriers telling you, like, where you can't spend it, other than, is the other person willing to accept it as a medium of exchange? That's it. You know, is the other person, is the other parties willing to abide by the rules? Do I trust them to abide by the rules of this currency system, or these tokens, or, you know, so on and so forth? And your reputation is back down to a singular thing. It's you now. Okay? You're not hiding behind the cloak of IBM and their fucking cadre of lawyers. It's you and the person that you're doing commerce with. And that's really what it should be. You know, I read an article, and if you go back through, hopefully I actually recorded it and it made it into one of my episodes. I had an issue last time around with recording, and I only got about half the episode, but I did post what I got. Point being, I read an article about it was like an IRC kind of thing. It was completely offline though. Now, knowing how cryptocurrencies work, in a close proximity area where you're not really getting out of contact with the other participants on this type of networking system, you could have a microeconomy with cryptocurrencies completely offline, but online in reference to one another. And that makes for a lot of interesting applications. And again, it dissembles this idea that you're going to be able to limit commercial action by maintaining onto this same fucking custodial model that we've been dealing with for the last, a couple centuries, maybe 1,000 years. We're not in Kansas anymore, folks. You know, we done left that plot behind and moved on to the city in the clouds. And you know, despite the fact that our geographic location is still on the surface of the planet, we have all the tools in order to get up into the sky. You know. In any case, I am going to flip back to some music, and then on the other side of that, we are going to get into the United States of America Department of Treasury Financial Crimes Enforcement Network assessment of civil money penalty against BTE/E, aka Canton Business Corporation, and Alexander Vinnick. And so, as far as music, you know, I'm pretty convinced that no matter what happens with regard to this, and no matter what happens with regard to August 1st, that we'll still be around. We'll still be doing what we're doing right now. Still be trading and mining and all that other business. And with that in mind, I'm trying to find the perfect song to how I feel about crypto. And here it is. Venom, Die Hard, here on Coin Metal. And that was Gridlock by Anthrax, off of Persistence of Time, by the way. Anyway, as threatened, and I do intend to make good on it, we're going to do a live reading of the assessment of civil penalty against by FinCEN against BTC-e. Introduction. The Financial Crimes Enforcement Network has determined that grounds exist to assess a civil money penalties? Dude, make up your mind. A civil money penalty against BTC-e, aka Canton Business Corporation, and Alexander Vinnick, pursuant to the Bank Secrecy Act and regulations issued pursuant to that act. Wouldn't it be funny to find out that Adam Gerbez is Alexander Vinnick? He's already used two or three different names, I think. Anyway, continuing. FinCEN has the authority to impose civil money penalties on money services, MSBs, and individuals involved in the ownership or operation of MSBs. Rules implementing the BSA state overall authority for enforcement and compliance, including coordination and direction of procedures and activities of all other agencies exercising delegated authority under this chapter, has been delegated by the Secretary of the Treasury to FinCEN. And let's see here. Scrolling down. BTC-e and Alexander Vinnick have been indicted in the Northern District of California under 18 U.S.C. weird squiggly 1956, 1957, and 1960 for money laundering, conspiracy to commit money laundering, engaging in unlawful monetary transactions, and the operation of an unlicensed money transmitting business. Jurisdiction. BTC-e operates as a, quote, exchanger of convertible virtual currencies, offering the purchase and sale of US dollars, Russian rubles, euros, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Namecoin, Novacoin, Peercoin, Ethereum, and Dash. BTC-e also offered BTC-e code, which enabled users to send and receive fiat currencies, including US dollars, with other BTC-e users. Since 2011, BTC-e has served approximately 700,000 customers worldwide and is associated with Bitcoin wallet addresses that have received over 9.4 million Bitcoin. Alexander Vinnik participated in the direction and supervision of BTC-e's operations and finances and controlled multiple BTC-e administrative accounts used in processing transactions. Exchangers of convertible virtual currency are, quote, money transmitters as defined at 31 CFR weird squiggly 1010.100 FFE and, quote, financial institutions as defined at 31 CFR weird squiggly 1010.100 T. A foreign-located business qualifies as an MSB if it does business as an MSB wholly or in substantial part within the United States. Customers located within the United States used BTC-e to conduct at least 21,000 Bitcoin transactions worth over $296 million and tens of thousands of transactions in other convertible virtual currencies. The transactions included funds sent from customers located within the United States to recipients who were also located within the United States. In addition, these transactions were processed through servers located in the United States. BTC-e's attempt to conceal the fact that it provided services to customers located within the United States. BTC-e instructed customers to make use of correspondent accounts held by foreign financial institutions or services provided by affiliates of BTC-e located abroad. Determinations. FinCEN has determined that from November 5, 2011 through the present, A. BTC-e and Alexander Vinnik willfully violated MSB registration requirements. B. BTC-e willfully violated the requirement to implement an effective anti-money laundering program, the requirement to detect suspicious transactions and file suspicious activity reports, and the requirement to obtain and retain records relating to transmittals of funds in amounts of $3,000 or more. And C. Alexander Vinnik willfully participated in violations of AML program and SAR requirements. Big fucking whoop-de-doo. A. Registration as a money services business. The BSA and its implementing regulations require the registration of an MSB within 180 days of beginning operations and the renewal of such registration every 2 years. And bunch of bullshit. A foreign located MSB must appoint an agent who will accept legal process in matters related to compliance with the BSA. The agent must reside within the United States. At no point in its operations was BTC-e registered with FinCEN. Notably, BTC-e went unregistered even after FinCEN issued guidance pertaining to exchanges and administrators of virtual currency in March of 2013. BTC-e never appointed an agent for services of process. Good. They don't recognize your control over them. B. Violations of AML program requirements. The BSA and its implementing regulations require an MSB to develop, implement, and maintain an effective written AML program that is reasonably designed to prevent the MSB from being used to facilitate money laundering and financing of terrorist activities. Give me a fucking break! The Federal Reserve finances more fucking terrorist activity than all of fucking cryptocurrencies involved in the entire fucking world economy. Give me a fucking break. BTC-e was required to implement a written AML program that, at a minimum, A, incorporates policies, procedures, and internal controls reasonably designed to assure ongoing compliance. B, designates an individual responsible to assure day-to-day compliance with the program and BSA requirements. C, provides training for appropriate personnel, including training in the detection of suspicious transactions, and D, provides for independent review to monitor and maintain an adequate program. Whatever. BTC-e lacked basic controls to prevent the use of its services for illicit purposes. Good. Through their operation of BTC-e, Alexander Vinnick and other individuals occupying senior leadership positions within the virtual currency exchange attracted and maintained a customer base that consisted largely of criminals who desired to conceal proceeds from crimes such as ransomware, fraud, identity theft, tax fund fraud schemes, public corruption, and drug trafficking. Public corruption. Maybe that's why we're not hearing the names of the persons involved in all that other stuff, huh? Let's see here. BSA compliance was compromised by revenue interests. BTC-e quickly became the virtual currency exchange of choice for criminals looking to conduct illicit transactions or launder illicit proceeds, all of which BTC-e failed to report to both FinCEN and law enforcement. Good. 1. Internal controls. BTC-e failed to implement policies, procedures, and internal controls reasonably designed to prevent the MSB from facilitating money laundering. Good. The BSA requires MSBs to implement policies and procedures to verify customer identification, file BSA reports, create and maintain BSA records, and respond to law enforcement requests. Nope. BTC-e lacked adequate controls to verify customer identification, to identify and report suspicious activity, and to prevent money laundering and financing of terrorist activities. And I really wish they would quit including that one, because I can guarantee you that BTC-e has, in its entire lifetime, not conducted enough financial activity to finance even a month worth of quote-unquote terrorist activities, of which we're seeing throughout the Middle East en masse by heavily armed individuals. And gosh, I wonder where they get those armaments from, Anyway, continuing. BTC-e offered a variety of convertible virtual currencies internationally and operated as one of the largest volume virtual currency exchanges. Good. The BSA and its implementing regulations require an MSB to implement internal controls that are commensurate with the risks posed by its clientele, the nature and volume of the financial services it provides, and the jurisdictions in which the MSB provides its services. I don't care about any of these things. Dude, we're in the 21st century. They can operate globally. Why shouldn't they? BTC-e failed to collect and verify even the most basic customer information. Good. Needed to comply with the BSA. BTC-e allowed its customers to open accounts and conduct transactions with only a username, password, and email address. That's exactly how a fucking cryptocurrency exchange should be. Email address, username, password. That's all it's needed. The minimal information collected was the same regardless of how many transactions were processed for a customer or the amount involved. Good. BTC-e implemented policies to verify customer identification in May 2017, but stated that compliance with those policies was, quote, optional. Good. Dude, you know what? This is reading like a commercial for BTC-e, I gotta tell you. BTC-e processed transactions with digital currency features that restricted its ability to verify customer information or monitor for suspicious activity. Excellent. BTC-e allowed over $40 million in transfers on its platform from Bitcoin mixers. Mixers anonymize Bitcoin addresses and obscure Bitcoin transactions by weaving together inflows and outflows from many different users. Instead of directly transmitting Bitcoin between two Bitcoin addresses, the mixer disassociates connections. Mixers create layers of temporary Bitcoin addresses operated by the mixer itself to further complicate any attempt to analyze the flow of Bitcoin. BTC-e lacked adequate internal controls to mitigate the risks presented by Bitcoin mixers. Excellent. BTC-e also lacked adequate internal controls to mitigate the risks presented by virtual currencies with anonymizing features. BTC-e facilitated transfers of the convertible virtual currency Dash, which has a feature called Private Send. Private Send provides a decentralized mixing service within the currency itself in an effort to enhance user anonymity. BTC-e and Alexander Vinnik failed to conduct appropriate risk-based due diligence to address the challenges anonymizing features would have on compliance with BSA reporting and record-keeping requirements. Excellent, excellent, excellent. God damn, I want to start an account with them already. BTC-e lacked adequate procedures for conducting due diligence, monitoring transactions, and refusing to commensurate transactions that facilitated money laundering or other illicit activity. Users of BTC-e openly and explicitly discuss conducting criminal activity through the website's internal messaging system and on BTC-e's public, quote, troll box or user chat. This resulted in no additional scrutiny from Alexander Vinnik or BTC-e's other operators and senior leadership. BTC-e received inquiries from customers on how to process and access proceeds obtained from the sale of illegal drugs on darknet markets, including Silk Road, Handsome Market, and Alphabay. God damn, what excellent customer service. BTC-e processed transactions involving funds stolen from the Mt. Gox exchange between 2011 and 2014. BTC-e processed over 300,000 Bitcoin of those proceeds, which were sent and held at 3 separate but linked BTC-e accounts. BTC failed to conduct any due diligence on the transactions or on the accounts in which the stolen Bitcoin were held. Moreover, BTC-e failed to file any SARs on these transactions even after the thefts were publicly reported in the media. C. Failure to file suspicious activity reports. The BSA and its implementing regulations require an MSB to report transactions that the MSB knows, suspects, or has reason to suspect are suspicious. To suspect or suspicious. If the transactions are conducted or attempted by or through the MSB and the transactions involve or aggregate at least $2,000 in funds or other assets, a transaction is, quote, suspicious. If the transaction A involves funds derived from illegal activity, B is designed to evade reporting requirements, C has no business or apparent lawful purpose, and the MSB knows of no reasonable explanation for the transaction after examining the available facts, including background and possible purpose, or D, involves the use of money service businesses to facilitate criminal activity. BTC-e processed thousands of suspicious transactions without ever filing a single SAR. Thank you. Unreported transactions included those conducted by customers who were widely reported as associated with criminal or civil violations of U.S. law. For example, from November 14, 2013 through July 21, 2015, BTC-e processed over 1,000 transactions for the unregistered U.S.-based virtual currency exchange CoinMX. CoinMX's operator Anthony M. Murgio pled guilty to charges including conspiracy to operate an unlicensed money transmitting business. CoinMX processed over 10 million in Bitcoin transactions derived from illegal activity throughout its operations, including a substantial number of that involved funds from ransomware extortion payments. Even after the conviction of CoinMX's operator, BTC-e failed to conduct reviews of transactions that BTC-e processed for CoinMX and failed to file any SARs. Criminals and cyber criminals in particular use BTC-e to process proceeds of their illicit activity. This was particularly the case for some of the largest ransomware purveyors, which use BTC-e as a means of storing, distributing, and laundering their criminal proceeds. And one point on that, the reason they even know about that is they were probably NSA agents conducting the criminal activity. Continuing on. FinCEN has identified at least 800,000 worth of transactions facilitated by BTC-e tied to the ransomware known as CryptoLocker, which affected computers in 2013 and 2014. Further, over 40% of all Bitcoin transactions, over 6,500 Bitcoin, associated with the ransomware scheme known as Locky, were sent through BTC-e. Despite readily available public information identifying the Bitcoin addresses associated with Locky, BTC-e failed to conduct any due diligence on the recipients of the funds and failed to file any SARs. BTC-e also failed to file SARs on transactions that involved the money laundering website Liberty Reserve. Liberty Reserve was a Costa Rica-based administrator of virtual currency that laundered approximately $6 billion in criminal proceeds. Excellent job, Liberty Reserve. Liberty Reserve's website was seized by the U.S. government and shut down when its owner and 6 other individuals were charged with conspiracy to commit money laundering and operating an unlicensed money transmitting business. FinCEN issued a finding under Section 311 of the USA Patriot Act that Liberty Reserve was a financial institution of primary money laundering concern. Not only did BTC-e share customers with Liberty Reserve, BTC-e code was redeemable by Liberty Reserve virtual currency. BTC-e failed to file SARs even after the public shutdown of Liberty Reserve in May 2013. D. Record-keeping requirements. The BSA and its implementing regulations require MSBs and other non-bank financial institutions to obtain and retain records related to transmittals of funds in amounts of $3,000 or more. BTC-e failed to collect even the most basic customer information and lacked adequate procedures for conducting due diligence and monitoring transactions. Good! Transaction records maintained by BTC-e lacked critical information such as name, address, and account numbers. Excellent! 4. Civil money penalty. FinCEN has determined that BTC-e willfully violated the BSA and its implementing regulations as described in this assessment, and that grounds exist to assess civil money penalties for these violations. FinCEN has determined that the proper penalties in this matter are a penalty of $110 million imposed on BTC-e and the penalty of $12 million imposed on Alexander Vinnick. by Jamal El Hindi, Acting Director of Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, U.S. Department of Treasury. Go fuck yourself, Jamal. Fuck yourself. Find a large foreign implement and fuck yourself with it. I mean, really, dude. You know, the only issue that I really have here is if they could identify the addresses that were like publicly available. I mean, it's like really obvious that they're from a criminal activity. Okay, at that point, I would expect them, just for maintenance of their own reputation, you know, as looking out for the well-being of their customers, you know, and thinking of their customers, saying, you know, maybe if one of my customers got ripped off, would I really want their money to get laundered through my exchange? Probably not. So, you know, with that in mind, you maybe you don't squeal to the pigs, but maybe you refuse some service. Oh, what? You want to cash out your fucking Mt. Gox stolen funds here? No, go fuck off. Go find another exchange to do that with. I mean, to me, that's just reasonable business, you know? I mean, if you know the person that the funds were stolen from, and I mean, you have a clear way to verify it, why wouldn't you just say, you know what? No, I don't want to participate in the perpetuation of your theft of somebody else's property. You know, that to me that's just reasonable. Okay, an exchange that would refuse business of that kind of criminal activity, absolutely, I'd be down with that. And you know what? As for the rest of this fucking paper, though, like I said, it seems like a glowing review of BTC-e, because I out of all of the things that I read in this, I wasn't reading complaints from BTC-e customers about their funds and their shit not being facilitated. I mean, because from what I can see here, it looks like everybody was happy with their service. I mean, I haven't seen too much on my Twitter feed about BTC-e. So, you know, again, as long as the customers are happy, who was injured here? But again, there was somebody injured. And it's because BTC-e didn't do a basic due diligence thing that they could have done on their own without any kind of federal requirements, just as a byproduct of the fortune that they have in dealing with cryptocurrencies. That, again, we can verify the addresses, and if it was written in a fucking article, a publicly authored article, that you could like copy the fucking address down and say, oh shit, it matches the address of the fucking coins this guy wants to send us and run through us. And you can just say no. You know, or maybe you can do some sort of blacklist or whitelist or whatever of addresses that you're going to refuse business from. And that way you don't even have any real interaction with it. It just gets bumped. You know, it's like they try and put it in the exchange and it matches with the whitelist, and the whitelist says, no entry. And like immediately deletes your account and boots you out to the exit page saying, thank you for attempting to do business with us. We've notified somebody that you have their coins or something. You know, maybe give the email give the email address to the people that reported the coins stolen, you know, or to the people that are affiliated with the address. I mean, again, these are basic things that exchanges could be doing amongst themselves, and you can eliminate the need to interact with these people entirely. You know, and as far as like BTC-e just outright ignoring FinCEN, I don't see anything wrong with that at all. I'd be just as happy if they kept ignoring them. What, you want $110 million? Yeah, whatever. Fuck, you didn't charge Wells Fargo that much for making up 5 million fraudulent accounts, costing their customers billions of fucking dollars over the years. No, just slap on the wrist. I think that was like $12 million or some shit like that. But no, we got to fucking hammer down on these guys because they were conducting legitimate commerce between free individuals. So we got to fucking stop that. You got to do everything to put the kibosh on that. That might actually, get the global economy catching up with us here in the 21st century. I swear, man, it drives me up a wall that we live in this fucking paradigm where you have to be like making things hundreds of millions at a time in order to be able to afford the licensure to make anything. And in the era of 3D printing. I mean, do you know what 3D printing could really do to just-in-time manufacturing? I mean, as somebody that was involved on a manufacturing floor, I can see myself being entirely replaced by 3D printing and fucking robots doing the job that I was doing. It was like somebody's tax write-off for me to be doing that job, even back when I was doing it. I mean, I think that's just fucking ridiculous. But again, I think they had, back in like the 70s, 80s, and 90s, only just a faint hint of an idea of what would happen if we replaced too much of our workforce with robots and programs and all that other business. That you wouldn't have enough people left in the economy that could actually afford the premium of your product or your service. And at this point, states and federal governments and city governments, they're leeching so much money out of the economy via taxes and regulations and fees and fucking all kinds of financial punishment on us, that that's not being utilized. That all that money is not creating other monetary activity that would create other commerce that would grow the tax base. And here we are in cryptocurrencies. We're just barely stumbling ahead here. We're not even a blip on the fucking global economy. I mean, in real terms, we're not even a fucking blip. But yet they want to hammer down on it because, oh my god, fuck, if 3 cents goes out of the fucking global economy into this cryptosphere economy, we're completely fucked. I mean, dude, you shouldn't be so dependent on every single penny that's the case. You're clearly doing something wrong. Like, maybe too much of your economy is based on war and the perpetuation thereof, or something to that effect. And we have other needs that we could be addressing and at a profit. And I think that's the sadder thing. It's like, we're trying to fulfill some fucking biblical prophecy where, all but 25 million people will fucking die. Give me a break, man. We have so much more now with regard to utilizable resources and ways to facilitate those resources right now, to where not a single person ever have to fucking starve again. But no. Explosions make such wonderful light at night that, we gotta like carpet bomb civilian populations or something, or it's just not worth it, man. It's no fun to continue being in a modern era if we're not carpet bombing somebody. So, got to keep that ball rolling. The fact of the matter is, though, is like the rest of the economy is living on vapor right now. I mean, the rest of the actual monetary activity going out there, it's vapor. Hardly anybody's going out. And they should be out enjoying their quote-unquote freedom. I mean, that's why you work 40 hours plus a week, isn't it? So you can enjoy your freedom. I mean, what's it worth if you can't fucking step outside the door without being taxed. Shit, you can't even stay inside the house without being taxed anymore. I mean, you look at all the taxes on like your internet use and your phone services and all that other bullshit. I mean, really, we just got to get rid of the FCC. And they're a big pain in the ass. In any case, I want to kick down into some music, and I've been reviewing a little bit of Fear Factory, but I fuck it. Body Hammer, Fear Factory, here on Coin Metal. And that was Rio Grande Blood by Ministry. Yeah, figured I'd wake you guys up with a little bit of concatenation there. Because we just don't get enough of that in life, right? You know, the mathematical resolution. Although, we in crypto probably get that a bit more than anybody else, I would think. But anyway, yeah, BTC-e doing the good work apparently, and I want to say a little bit more on that. You know, when I first started into cryptocurrencies, that was my understanding of how they were supposed to be, is that it was a means of conducting financial activity in a way that was, I don't know, more in line with, like, say, the First Amendment, but like on a global scale, that regardless of embargoes or whatever else national governments were doing to one another or about one another or whatever, that this global economy could kind of flourish outside of it. And I really believe this, that regardless of what FinCEN or SEC or FDIC or whatever any of these other fucking people do, regardless of all of that, that aspect of cryptocurrencies will remain true. And that, basically they'll end up going broke on paperwork, trying to issue the paperwork for summons and illegal claims, or fucking, dude, we're so far beyond this type of regulatory paradigm. You know, I mean, realistically, I think that people conduct more quote unquote legitimate commerce, meaning that one person receives the money and the other person receives the product that they purchased, and neither one of those parties feels ripped off. That it was equally valuable to both parties to make that exchange. You know, I mean, that to me is legitimate commerce. I really don't care about what is being exchanged, as long as it's not children or some shit like that, or illegally obtained fucking antiquities, cultural antiquities that have ended up on the black market or something like that. But those are already criminal activities that we have laws against. I mean, really, if FinCEN and the DOJ and all those other fuckers were to just pay attention to their existing mandates, they'd have more fucking work than they know what to do with. But no, they gotta come fuck with crypto. Give me a fucking break, man. Give me a fucking break. It indicates the level of desperation that they are facing at this moment. Because I think it's only now becoming obvious that this situation does exist, where the barriers that they had to contain the monetary activity of this planet are no longer effective at doing that. And again, this to me, and they even said it. They said that it was intended to send a message. You know what? You want to send a message to somebody? Why don't you send a message to Wells Fargo? I mean, they've been caught several times now in multiple shady activities. It's like I think they were either one of the banks associated or one of the benefactors of Wachovia collapsing. I believe they purchased Wachovia, but you know what? I guarantee you they were conducting the same activity that they were before. You know, the case against them, the last case where they were making those fraudulent accounts and whatnot. What they don't talk about in that is what those accounts were really used for. I mean, I can't imagine that they created 5 million fraudulent accounts and weren't doing certain financial activities that they weren't supposed to be doing. I mean, because they were already creating these fucking ghost accounts, right? So why stop there? You know, you could be, I don't know, maybe using those as holding slush funds for, say, the Sinaloa cartel to use as collateral for loans, for housing loans. And you can go back doing to Wachovia, or doing what Wachovia was doing, without scrutiny. And I'm sure there was so much financial activity going on with those 5 million accounts, or however many. I want to say it was 5 million. It was several million accounts. I just remember that. It was either 2.5 million or 5 million. I'm pretty sure it was 5 million, though. Anyway, they could conduct a shit ton of illegal transactions and whatnot, and they've got all of the provenance information of their customers to just tag on these accounts. And so they're probably fucking up people's security, what do you call it, their credit rating, or fucking up their taxes and all that with all of the illegal activity going on through their bank accounts. And I gotta wonder how that alone didn't catch it. You know, the IRS report back to you, hey, according to our records with your bank, you had about $2 million go through your account. Is this your account? And you say, no, this isn't my account. Fuck, I was lucky if I cleared $20,000 last year. Not all of it made it into the fucking bank. And then they go and they talk to the bank and that was a clerical error. Delete that account or get that account associated with somebody else. And they walk on, you know. You got that man in the middle advantage there. But point being that when you look at those things, when they occur, you have to think to yourself, like, what else is going on here? I mean, it's clear that they're violating the trust of both of their customer and all of the regulatory bodies that they have licensure over and that they register with. They're clearly, you know, sociopathic there. That doesn't mean a whole lot of boodle to them, unless, of course, it's costing them money, and then it might mean something. But if they're going to be that flagrant in the disregard of that trust, what else are they doing? And I can guarantee if FinCEN and FDIC and all those, and the SEC, if they were to get as hard on Wells Fargo as they're going to try and get on BTC-e, there would be a run on Wells Fargo, because the level of fraudulent activity that they would uncover with even a cursory audit of their books, I guarantee would eclipse any interest they may have had in BTC-e. But their interest is not in protecting the viability of the markets by prosecuting fraudulent players in the legitimate legacy markets. No. Now, they have to maintain the interest of those parties. And so they have to go through to BTC-e and fuck with them. It's terrible. I guarantee you that if anybody were to do a real audit of BTC-e's transactions, that the volume of quote-unquote criminal, I mean like real fucking criminal activity. I mean, we are talking about, stealing people's money, cracking Mt. Gox, real criminal activity where there were real damages suffered by real people. And we were to look at BTC-e's records, I guarantee you it would be a fly speck. What they're really interested in is appropriately assessing taxation of the individuals that were conducting all of this financial activity. Because they weren't seeing a cent of it. And they're like, the IRS is like, look, dude, we're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars, so... or hundreds of millions rather, so we're gonna have to throw the hammer at these guys because they're moving around a lot of money now. But I think this is that period where they're nibbling down the first layer. They're fucking with the people that won't go along with their rules and whatnot. And I really hope that BTC-e is otherwise operating as a legitimate exchange. That if I send money to it, and I expect maybe US dollars to come into my bank account, that happens and they aren't selling my bank account information to somebody or something like that. As long as that's true, I could give a fuck about anything else that they're doing. I could really care less, as long as they aren't quote unquote facilitating terrorism, and I mean that in the criminal physical sense. I don't mean that in FinCEN determined that drug sales are somehow related to terrorism or have some social impact that's tantamount to terrorism, and so we get to prosecute it under terrorism laws. Fuck you. All it is some fucking creeping, slippery slope. And what pisses me off the most about any of this is that this kind of prosecution and this kind of pursuit is so fucking wrong-minded. Okay, and in the interim, they're going to end up stifling all kinds of innovation that could be happening here, should be happening here. They're going to scare it. It's going to fucking move to Hong Kong, where they really don't give a fuck as long as everybody is solvent at the end of the equation. Or someplace else that is outside of the SEC's quote-unquote jurisdiction or imagined boundaries of coverage. I mean, really. I should be free to conduct transactions with everybody on planet Earth. These motherfuckers need to just go back to the 15th century where they belong and understand that the economic activity that I generate, I might actually generate enough income to bother taxing me. And you know what? If I'm making enough money, I might even pay something. But of course, then it'll come back down to the market economy of things. And I'll be entitled to ask the question then, what exactly do you intend to give me for the money that I give you? And if the answer is, well, I'm going to pay this guy to point a gun at you so that you continue to pay me, I'm not going to see the value end of this equation there. That doesn't sound very appealing to me. Now, what if your answer is, I'm going to dedicate it to employing this guy to fix the potholes out on the road? Well, fuck, everybody wants to use the roads. Fuck yeah, I'll give you some money for that. How much money do you want for that? Oh, we want $300 billion. Well, what guarantee do I have that if I give you the money, that you're not going to pay some other guy to point a fucking gun at me and keep me paying money? And see, if you violate that, I'll also retain the ability to stop paying you. So you won't just be able to continue to lie to me and tell me, dude, I swear, next month I'm not going to pay a guy to point a gun at you. I'm going to pay a guy to pick up a shovel and he's going to fix the fucking potholes out there. I swear I'm not going to pay another guy to point a gun at you so that you pay next month. And again, you violate that trust again. Fuck you. I'm going to find somebody else that will actually do the job they'll tell me they're going to do with the money. And you're going to be knocked back down to being an honest broker or not a broker at all. I mean, there's you have power because, somebody gave you a placard on the fucking door for your office and that sits on your desk and is on your on a special parking spot just for you. That's no longer sufficient. That's no longer sufficient to say you have the reins to the entire global economy and you say jump and we say how high. Because we have the ability to hold funds in ways that you can't actually access. And if we hold those funds far enough out of your hands, you're going to run out of funds to pay the people that you do have holding guns. And then they're going to come to us because we're going to be the people that have the money. And when people talk about the kind of balance of power that money has, really that's what it equates to. And when you break it down to those raw terms, you start reevaluating the value proposition that you're being held or that you're being offered. And ultimately, if all you have on the other end of it is a stick and you don't have a fucking carrot, I'm sorry, the people are going to follow the fucking carrot. And there are digital carrots out there that they can do, that they can get access to. And again, if all you have on your end is a lot of fucking stick, you're not going to be able to pull enough of the market to you. You're not going to be able to retain enough of the market if all you have is stick. You got to be able to present some carrot, man. You can't secure my funds better than I can. But again, that's only because I know what I know about cryptocurrencies. I'm not an incredibly technical person. And what I know about cryptocurrencies could be taught to the average 12-year-old. But I know a hell of a lot more than most people, and certainly most people in government. But thinking about that, we see it every day in cryptocurrency news where some 16-year-old buys a fucking $500,000 house because mommy let him use the fucking credit card to start an account. And he's been slinging Satoshis with the rest of us. That's the reality that we're facing. And with this fucking this FinCEN clampdown and whatnot, all they're trying to do is put a chill out there on this and let their legacy financier lobbyist friends catch up with them or catch up with the rest of the market. And I'm sorry, man, it's just not going to happen. You've got 16-year-olds right now that are developing coins. They've got the power of Janet Yellen literally at their keyboard, and you're going to tell them not to do it? I mean, you can't stop them from cracking your fucking commercial video codecs and disseminating videos that have just been released. Haven't even been released to movie theaters yet in some cases. And yet it's openly available out on the fucking quote unquote dark web or in over torrents and whatnot. and you haven't been able to stop that shit. I mean, that's only been going on since the beginning of the internet, pretty much. I think software piracy began during the time that I was just becoming aware of computers and whatnot, or what's called software piracy by some people. Other people just called it sharing software, which is pretty much what I consider it to be too. It's one of those things where, like, I'll give you an example. Adobe Photoshop. I use Adobe Photoshop every once in a while, or I learned how to a long time ago, and I have used it. But I've never made any money off of anything that I've made with it. So, to me, the commercial value of Photoshop is nil. None. Now, what if there was a way that I could make something with Photoshop, right? And I could put it up on a market that Adobe presents, and somebody could pay me like maybe hundreds or maybe even thousands of Satoshis for a copy of it. Wouldn't that be pretty cool? I think that's the kind of shit that's entirely possible. And this whole fucking, we gotta tax it all, tax it now, this whole mentality, it's going to end up putting it back in the fucking Stone Age, or putting it abroad where they're not thinking about it like this. And it's with that in mind, I want to dive back into articles here, because I got one more. And this one is by the SEC themselves, U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission press release. SEC issues investigative report concluding Dow tokens, a digital asset, were securities. Big fucking whoop-de-doo. U.S. security laws may apply to offer, sales, and trading of interests in virtual organizations. Washington, D.C., July 25, 2017, the Securities and Exchange Commission issued an investigative report today cautioning market participants that offers and sales of digital assets by, quote, virtual organizations are subject to the requirements of federal securities laws. Such offers and sales, conducted by organizations using distributed ledger or blockchain technology, have been referred to, among other things, as, quote, initial coin offerings or, quote, token sales. Whether a particular investment transaction involves the offer or sale of a security, regardless of the terminology or technology used, will depend on the facts and circumstances, including the economic realities of the transaction. The SEC's report of investigation found that tokens offered and sold by a, quote, virtual organization known as the Dow were securities and therefore subject to the federal securities laws. The report confirms that issuers of distributed ledger or blockchain technology-based securities must register offers and sales of such securities unless a valid exemption applies. Those participating in unregistered offerings may be liable for violations of securities laws. Additionally, securities exchanges providing for trading in these securities must register unless they are exempt. The purpose of the registration provisions of the federal securities laws is to ensure that investors are sold investments that include all the proper disclosures and are subject to regulatory scrutiny for investors' protection. Quote, the SEC is studying the effects of distributed ledger and other innovative technologies and encourages market participants to engage with us, said SEC Chairman Jay Clayton. Quote, we seek to foster innovative and beneficial ways to raise capital while ensuring, first and foremost, that investors and our markets are protected. Bullshit. Quote, investors need the essential facts behind any investment opportunity so they can make fully informed decisions. And today's report confirms that sponsors of offerings conducted through the use of distributed ledger or blockchain technology must comply with the securities laws, said William Hinman, Director of the Division of Corporate Finance. The SEC's report stems from an inquiry that the agency's enforcement division launched into whether the Dow and associated entities and individuals violated federal securities laws with unregistered offers and sales of Dow tokens in exchange for, quote, Ether, a virtual currency. The Dow has been described as a, quote, crowdfunding contract but it would not have met the requirements of regulation crowdfunding exemption because, among other things, it was not a broker-dealer or a funding portal registered with the SEC or Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA. Pfft, who gives a fuck? It would not have met the requirements because it didn't register. Who gives a fuck? Fuck you. No, you just came along and said, "Oh, this belongs to us." No, it didn't belong to you to begin with. It still doesn't belong to you. Go fuck off. Quote, the innovative technology behind these virtual transactions does not exempt securities offerings and trading platforms from the regulatory framework designed to protect investors and the integrity of markets, said Stephanie Avakian, co-director of the SEC's Enforcement Division. Hold on. Hold the phone there, Stephanie. Check it. I have not invested in a single ICO. Why? Because I do not believe in most of the ICOs. I'm sure there's one or two that are actually doing the work that they say they're doing, but I've read some of the paperwork for some of these I don't even know what to fucking call them, ICOs. And you know what? If an investor can't read those and determine for themselves that they are fraudulent and that they will never fulfill on the promises that they say that they can do, then that is their fucking problem. That is not your problem, Stephanie. If I waste my money on a coin and the dev cashes out and absconds to Bolivia, that's my problem, Stephanie, not yours. And you know what? Anybody foolish enough to go whole hog into an ICO, that is their problem. You cannot save them from their own stupidity. Anyway, continuing. Stephen Pekin, co-director of the Enforcement Division, added, quote, as the evolution of technology continues to influence how businesses operate and raise capital, market participants must remain cognizant of the application of the federal securities laws. In light of the facts and circumstances, the agency has decided not to bring charges in this instance or make findings of violations in the report, but rather to caution the industry and market participants. In other words, they really can't do anything because a criminal activity has yet to be determined. The federal securities laws apply to those who offer and sell securities in the United States, regardless whether the issuing entity is a traditional company or a decentralized autonomous organization, regardless whether those securities are purchased using U.S. dollars or virtual currencies, and regardless whether they are distributed in certificated form or through distributed ledger technology. The SEC's Office of Investor Education and Advocacy today issued an investor bulletin educating investors about ICOs. As discussed in the report, virtual coins or tokens may be securities and subject to the federal securities laws. The federal securities laws provide disclosure requirements and other important protections of which investors should be aware. In addition, the bulletin reminds investors of red flags and of investment fraud, and that new technologies may be used to perpetuate investment schemes that may not comply with federal securities laws. The SEC's investigation in this matter was conducted in the New York office by members of the SEC's Distributed Ledger Technology Working Group, Pamela Sawney, Daphne A. Waxman, and Valerie Shepanik, who heads the DLTWG, with assistance from others in the agency's divisions of corporate finance, trading and markets, and investment management. The investigation was supervised by Laura Maharaban. Yeah, you know what? These people should just all pack up and go home. I mean, they really serve no function in cryptocurrencies. And again, if you are not savvy enough to be participating in cryptocurrency investment, that is your business, sir or ma'am, depending on your genitalia alone, I guess. But check it. The SEC themselves in this thing, and their enforcement division and all that, have been involved in the construction of this article, and so are clearly cognizant and aware of one another, and yet they are not recommending any kind of criminal investigation or prosecution. So that should tell you something, and tells me that all of the people that were investing were completely aware of what they were getting into, or to the best of the SEC's knowledge, they were fully informed. And so no criminal activity has been taking place here. And I don't understand why people invest in some of these ICOs, but it's not my problem. I don't throw my money at it, so it's not my problem. When I throw money at it, then it'll be my problem. And if it pays out, good. If it doesn't, oh well. I've kind of gotten dispassionate and relativistic about a lot of things, and I have to attribute some of it to my experience in cryptocurrencies, and of course jiu-jitsu. That'll make you relativistic about a lot of shit. Like, make you reevaluate really quick what is important. Right now it's the guy trying to strangle me, And so, when you put reality into those terms for yourself, and you do things like cryptocurrency transactions, and you see how fast and how cleanly everything operates, and you're doing it with the knowledge that there isn't some big mega corporation, some global multinational corporation that transits hundreds of billions of dollars every fucking day in profit involved in that whole equation. There's no government. There's no government with 190 fucking military bases strewn all over the planet making that shit happen. It's people like you and me. Somebody started a business, of course, got a shit ton of miners together, and I don't give a fuck that they're in China. Big whoop-de-doo, there's centralization happening in China. The SEC should just fucking shut the fuck up. The FDIC, they should all just shut the fuck up. FINRA, shut the fuck up. Go the fuck away. You have more than enough shit on your plate just with legacy finance. If you were to start paying attention to legacy finance stuff, fuck. Here I am out here in Podunk Nothing, fucking Oregon, and just with my internet connection, I can find basis for multiple fucking investigations that you should, of the class of stuff that you supposedly investigate, that's just going right under your nose. And I don't see any involvement of you in it at all. And yet here you are, we're in an industry worth a cumulative total globally of less than $100 billion, and you're barking up our ass. Go, get real, get rational. Really, if you were to pursue the real perpetrators of fraud in our economy, we'd be a lot better off. And you'd find out that it's a lot of these quote-unquote too big to fail trusted entities that are fully registered and quote-unquote compliant with you, even though those of us here on the ground level know that they aren't compliant with you, and that we just have to eat a lot of that shit sandwich because we don't have all that much bread to our disposal, and we can't really fight it. That is the kind of shit that's driving people to crypto. And That's one of those reassurances to me that, this isn't some federally created aberration that is being disseminated out to the public via darknet markets and shit. Is that the use, the mentality behind the use. So far in cryptocurrencies, I've seen minimal, quote unquote, criminal activity or even criminal mindedness. What I see more is a wondering of what is really possible, and when I say what is possible, I mean quote unquote legitimate commerce, where Group A wants product B and Group C has product B and wants, currency D for it, and Group A has currency D, and they're able to do commerce. That's legitimate commerce for me. As long as both parties, A and C, walk away from that commerce satisfied with the exchange, where's the damage? Where's the crime? I don't care that the guy bought opium. Big whoop-de-doo. He's got an opiate addiction to service. I'd much rather he be doing it via a legitimate commercial transaction like the one I just described than, hanging out on a corner with a fucking can trying to get up enough coin to service his fucking addiction. I mean, because, if he's doing it via cryptocurrencies, chances are he's conducting other transactions via cryptocurrencies. He's probably generating a lot more economic activity than he was when he's sitting out there on a fucking corner panhandling. I mean, misattributions of brain power and manpower just disgust me to no end, when there are so many things that we can be addressing with it. And many people that would be terribly interested in doing it. If I were to walk down Eugene and talk to the bums there and say, hey man, how interested would you be in like a replenishing the ecological health of a park that's public access? I'd probably be able to pull a work crew of 20 people out of just the bums that are sitting on the curb. I mean, wouldn't it be cool? Go down there with a few $1,000s in Bitcoin, pay them $100 a piece for a good hard day's work, just doing a little cleanup. It was one of those things that I thought about first with cryptocurrencies about I want to say 2014, 2015. And it was the first time I'd actually made a profit in trading. And I got relativistic about my own education in trading and the fact that I was doing it successfully with as minimal experiences I actually had. And I was like, with maybe a week of training, I could get the average bum on the street up to my level of sophistication as of a trader. And I started wool gathering about renting a space in the city and getting a really good internet connection to it and having it as a physical trading portal for homeless people. the homeless people's digital exchange or something like that, to where I would allow people that walk in off the street a physical address to associate with their account, and that way it covers a lot of the federal requirements for all that bullshit. But in any case, I wonder how many millionaires are sitting on a corner right now, or potential millionaires, somebody who has enough brain power between their ears that if just applied to the right format and oriented with the right information would be a killer trader out there. I think we're living in the age when that person can be facilitated like that. And it's just a matter of will to get him there. and it's with that I want to close this one out. I want to thank you all for listening. I certainly appreciate the support. And this one will be going up on my YouTube channel in full. I did actually start recording before I even started broadcasting. I got a little bit ahead of the game, trying to be a little more consistent for you guys, you know. In any case, we will be back on Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And until then, you'll be able to find me on Twitter. I'm usually also in the IRC chat room for Verge Currency and Telegram these days. You can also find me on Facebook under DJ E-Rock or Frank Dashwood. And so until Friday, I want you all to trade safe. I want you to do your homework. Because if you don't do it, the SEC will think of some excuse to do it for you. And I want you to watch out for your own bunghole, and don't give the SEC a reason to even bother trying to intervene within cryptocurrencies. Thank you again for listening, and you all have an excellent evening.